What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing today? I'm going to give you guys a shorter video. I know my last ones have been a little bit longer, but this is going to be a lot shorter, back to my normal style videos. But the title of today's topic is Look Towards Your Future and Not Your Past. And if we were to go to scripture, it says to walk by faith and not by sight. And what's unique about that is you allow your future to drive your present instead of allowing your past to drive your present. So when you allow your future to drive your present, it excites you. It gives you joy. You have a newfound energy to go do things in order to achieve that future, in order to achieve that goal. But most of us, a lot of us, tend to look at our past. We tend to focus on the negative because the negative is always outshines the positive things that we do in life or the positive things that we've done in life. So we tend to focus a lot more on negative things. So when we focus on those negative things, we tend to look at the holes in our life. We tend to look at the mistakes we made, where we went wrong. If we could do it over, I would do this differently. But the thing is that you don't get where you are today without making those mistakes. So those mistakes are needed in order to set up your future. So it's all about growth. Doing something wrong or making a mistake is neither good nor bad. It is what it is. So you have the choice of making it a good thing, or you can make it a bad thing. So when you tend to focus on the negative aspects of the thing that happened to you, of course, it's going to look as bad. But when you switch it around and think about like how that mistake got you to do this differently, or how you learned from that mistake and how you didn't make that mistake again down the road, then you can start to use it as a platform to take you to the next level. So what we have to do is we have to stop allowing our past to imprison our future by defining our present. We have to allow our past to catapult us to the future, to the next level. And we do that mainly by changing the way that we look at our past and the mistakes that we made in the past, because the mistakes that we made created strengths in different areas of our life. So we learned from those mistakes. So focus on the future is the main thing, because when you focus on the future, you get energy. Energy is created. You get joy. Joy is created. You're excited now. You have found a passion. You're loving what you're doing, and allow that to drive your present. Allow that to be your focus. So a good example of what I'm trying to explain is the story of Joseph in Genesis in the Bible. So Joseph, when he was young, he had a dream that he was going to rule. And it was a dream given to him by God, and he told his brothers of his dream, and they became extremely jealous, and he ended up getting sold into slavery by his brothers. And he spent a long time in slavery. I think they say had to be somewhere around 30 years or something like that, 30, 40 years that he was in slavery in Egypt. And over time, he ended up becoming a servant under one of Pharaoh's officials. And that gentleman's name was Potiphar. And Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him, tried to, get him to sleep with her. And when he didn't want to do it, when he told her no, she claimed that he was trying to sleep with her, claiming rape. Oh, he was trying to sleep with me, trying to be forceful. So what they did is they threw him in prison, where he sat in prison for more years. And then, because he had the unique gift of being able to interpret dreams, he interpreted one of Pharaoh's dreams. Pharaoh made him governor over Egypt, gave him a ton of power. And with that power, he made a great decision of rationing out the food, because he made a prediction of there being a famine coming. So he saved a lot of lives. And the thing about that story is that he continued to stay focused on the promise that God had given him, that he was going to rule eventually. He could have been one of those people who lived in his past. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm so upset about this situation that I'm in. I'm in slavery. I'm in prison now, all because of my brothers. You know, he could have looked back on his life. He could have looked at his past and, you know, allowed that to determine his present and allowed that to determine his future. But he chose to focus on his future. He chose to focus on his future, which gave him strength to endure his present. It allowed him to endure his present in order to, you know, reach the finality of the dream that God had given him. He became governor over Egypt. He became one of the most powerful people in Egypt, and he started off as a slave. So in order to not allow ourselves to defeat ourselves, we must stay focused on the future. We are our worst enemy because our mind is very tricky and it likes to play games on us. And we can fall victim to those games, and falling victim to those games can have a large effect on our future, our life. So we must stay strong mentally. We must stay focused on the goal mentally. We must walk by faith and not by sight. You know what I mean? So that's why I love that. That's probably the most known quote from Christian religion is walk by faith, not by sight. And it's very important because you have to put your belief into something. You have to put your trust into something in order to achieve it. You know, people talk about manifestation, but the beginning of manifestation is your ability to see it before it is something, before it's manifested. So it starts off as an idea, but in order to manifest it, you have to believe in that idea. You have to, you know, fully believe in the idea in order to produce it into reality, in order to pull it from a concept in the mind into a physical product or a physical thing or into reality. So this concept of walking by faith is important in everything that you do, because whether it's you walking in faith with God or is you walking with faith, you know, as it pertains to your goals or things that you're trying to achieve, you'll never achieve them if you don't believe first. So I would never achieve salvation if I don't believe in God first. I can't see salvation and then say, okay, now I believe. At that point, it's too late. So you have to believe ahead of time or you'll never see it. And that's just the point that I wanted to drive home. You have to allow your future to drive your present instead of allowing your past to drive your present. Because if you allow your past to drive your present, you'll never achieve the thing that you want in the future. But I thank you guys for watching this video. A little heady, a little different. You know, I was thinking about this. I heard a guy named Myron Golden talk about something similar, and it just sparked an idea within my mind. And that's how I get creative. Like, my creative ability comes from others' creative ability. And like, I almost soak in that energy, their creative energy, and they generate ideas for me. So I may hear something, I'm like, that is unique. Like, how do I come up with an interesting video off of maybe this little snippet that he said? So find your way to get creative, and that's my way of getting creative. It's usually listening to a lot of other people be in their creative space. I kind of pull energy from them creatively, and it gets me going and gets me thinking creatively. But yeah, I thank you guys for checking out this video, and I'm gonna have more content coming soon. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.